Hi, I'm Sue Palmer, the Horse Physio. Today, I want to talk you through a new study published in the Equine Veterinary Journal and why its findings matter so much for you and your horse. The study looked at spinal articular dysfunction in 492 show jumping horses. And what the researchers found was striking. Not a single horse in the entire population was free from spinal dysfunction. Now, before that sounds worrying, it's important to understand what this really means. Much like human athletes, horses develop areas of tightness or restriction simply through living, moving, training, and adapting to the physical demands we place on them. These dysfunctions aren't always painful, but they do tell us that the body is working hard. In this study, each horse had all 30 spinal motion units assessed, from the poll at C1 down to the lumbar-sacral junction. The horses weren't selected because they had severe problems. Many were examined as part of routine maintenance, or because of subtle issues like stiffness, reduced suppleness, or small performance inconsistencies, the kind of things horse owners often sense before they can describe. The average number of dysfunctional segments was almost 12. Some horses had just 2, while others had as many as 23, and nearly 90% had dysfunction in all 3 spinal regions, the cervical, thoracic, and lumbar spine. The areas most commonly affected were the mid-lumbar region, especially L2, L3, and L4. These vertebrae are responsible for generating propulsion and absorbing the forces of takeoff and landing. The pole at C1 was also frequently affected, along with the thoracic sling area around T7. When you think about the biomechanics of jumping, lifting the forehand, flexing at the pole, stabilising under the saddle, it makes perfect sense that these regions work incredibly hard. The study also found differences with age. Younger horses had fewer dysfunctional segments in the neck, while older horses showed more restrictions there. That fits with what we know about degenerative changes and the increased loading of the cervical spine over time, particularly in warm bloods. What I find especially interesting is that many horses didn't show obvious signs of pain when their spine was palpated. Around 63% showed no clear pain responses, despite having multiple dysfunctional segments. This reflects what I wrote about in Brain, Pain or Training, that discomfort in horses is often subtle and behaviourally expressed long before it becomes physically obvious. Now, I want to link this to what I feel beneath my hands every day as a chartered physiotherapist. So much of my treatment time is spent improving the flow of movement through the spine, from poll to tail. My decades of experience have taught me that when we free up the spine, the limbs move more freely, range of movement improves, and stiffness and pain reduce throughout the whole body. To someone watching, it might sometimes look as though I'm focusing on the neck, but in truth, I'm always working with the entire spine, and therefore the entire horse. I'm feeling for ease, softness, and a lack of resistance. And when a restricted area lets go, there's no feeling quite like it. I know instantly that the horse is going to feel the change. And so often they show us straight away, with a yawn, a head lower, a stretch, or even a full body shake. For me, it's one of the many things that makes this work so incredibly rewarding. So what does all of this mean for you and your horse? It means that spinal restrictions are normal. They're part of being an equine athlete. What matters most is catching them early, supporting healthy movement, and building a trusted team around your horse. When we notice the whispers before they become shouts, we protect our horses far more effectively. If you'd like to learn more about this study and how it relates to your horse's comfort and performance, you can read the full blog at the link in the description.